Awesome. Yes. Hello and welcome back to Better Than Yesterday. I'm Daniel Hammond, joined by my good friend Michael Janssen van Rensburg. And today we're going to have a conversation about our journey, what led us to Better Than Yesterday. We've talked about this quite briefly before, but today we just like to dive in deep in our stories and give more details, basically. Michael, I look forward to this conversation, man, and how it's going to turn out, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's going to be a cool video and a cool podcast, a cool topic to talk about because I think, like you say, in a few of our videos before, it's something that we've touched on, and I think the reason why we're talking about our story today is obviously because it's a fun one for me and Daniel to talk about, obviously because it's just thinking about old times, how we got into this, but hopefully it'll be able to help other people just by hearing how we got started and maybe it's something similar to something that they're going through. So that's sort of the hope behind this, man. But yeah, man, I must say, I think we've said it before that our journey probably started with self-development about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. But realistically, our journey started 18 years ago, bro. I was born here in Cape Town, South Africa. Daniel was born then Namibia, and also moved down here to South Africa. And yeah, man, like I think it's important sort of where you're raised, that sort of shapes a big part of who you are. Also the people that you're raised with. Both of our parents raised us in a Christian household and manner, which played a big part in becoming who I am. I've got like strong Christian values that uphold a big part of who I am. And that's a big part of my identity, and it always has been. And, there's always that part of developing your own Christian journey. And that started probably when I was around 10 or 11 years old. I decided to actually, or maybe, I'd say about 10 years old, that I decided to really, give my own journey and my own whole life to God. So that's been a big part of my journey, bro. I'm sure it's been the same for you, man. Going to school
bro.
throughout the years, bro, there's all these different things that shape you, bro. And I think, my parents, I know my dad is probably one of my biggest role models. So, and same with my mom, I look up to them both so much. So I would say they had a big part in shaping me towards becoming who I am today. And I know that's sort of something that even in the beginning, you might have not felt it, but it probably pushed us towards becoming who to being, so passionate about self-development and improving and being better than the person you were yesterday. So yeah, I'd say that's sort of where it sort of started for me, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, so I was born in Namibia, in the capital city, Windhoek. It has been, it's been quite a similar journey to yours, bro. I grew up when I became aware of my surroundings and so on.
Mm.
I was in a Christian home. My parents were always involved in these Christian activities, and I think I'm grateful for that to be in a Christian home, to grow up in that, whereas a lot of people would later on find out about God and then start their journey. With us, we were in that environment, but we had to take that decision to allow God into our lives and to walk our own journey with Him, because obviously our parents' journey won't save us. We have to decide for ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a walk, quite a journey, man.
Mm.
So I think it was also around 10, 11, round about when I decided to really build a relationship with God and
Mm.
walk in that. And I must say it does get challenging sometimes, because not everyone has the Christian belief.
Yeah.
And then some of your beliefs, you have to say no to certain things
Yeah.
which do look cool, and then I guess that sort of makes you stand aside a bit sometimes, or you feel left out because you don't do certain things. But I think it's good have this have this kind of journey. So yeah, Michael, with that being said, bro, I think it's good to have to make those sort of decisions from an early age because it helps you to stand firm on your values
Yeah.
and be true to yourself in the end. Yeah, how have you experienced these sort of challenges as being a Christian?
Yeah, man. It's like you say, obviously, I went to. I think both of us we went. How we met was we were going to this school called West Coast Christian School, a school that was also had like these strong Christian values. So I think even in that kind of situation, you're sheltered, but there's still always people around you who judge you for maybe turning down a situation because of your faith, or if you act a certain way because of your faith, or you do all these sort of things. So there's a lot of situations like that I'm sure I can think of, like whether it's turning down alcohol, or something like that. Like that's a more extreme situation. I think in the beginning it's more things like friends around me would be taking the Lord's name in vain, and that's something that I always like. In the Bible it says that it's not something you should do. So I think it's just those kind of situations where sometimes your faith can get tested, but like you say, it's such a privilege to have Christ with us at all points, man. And I'm sure, yeah, I mean, having faith, for anyone who is a believer of Christ, they'll tell you that it's really something beneficial. And if not, there's always other things you can lean on, but Christ is always there, and he's always there for us. I must say that's something that I've noticed in my life. But yeah, man, one thing I wanted to talk about is sort of how we became friends, bro, and how like our friendship was in the beginning. I think it was probably back in like grade 3, if I'm not mistaken, bro.
Yeah,
Even
grade
more
three, bro.
towards grade 4. Like, yeah, we became friends. We were there in school, and back then life was simple. Obviously, we used to play Red
Mm.
Rover at break all the time, and tag it and this kind of stuff. And yeah, man, something about us obviously just sparked a friendship, and I'm so grateful it did, bro, because we've been friends ever since. I mean, I remember back then we used to be quite creative, bro, despite even just the simple things that we were doing back then. I remember we wrote a song, and we tried writing a book together the one time as well. I remember I would write a few pages, you'd write a few pages, and we literally wrote a whole like story, like a fictional story together. And that's something like it's quite interesting, you that we ended up doing that. And I remember you used to come to my house and we used to play Monopoly all the time. We would literally just be chilling and playing football and this kind of stuff. So it's good memories, bro. And that kind of stuff shapes, a strong friendship that's lasted all the way up until now, man. It's been so special.
Yeah, no, it has, bro. And the fact that we can look back to these memories and just see where we've come from and how we would always come up with these ideas,
Mm,
sort of like we had that early YouTube channel as well.
you did.
That idea also like came through our friendship.
Mm,
And yeah, I remember the first time we met, we were having like a devotional,
mm,
and I was new at the school. So you were sitting with a bunch of your other friends, Ethan and so on. Then I came to sit there. Then it was quite like a weird situation, but I just pushed through and we became friends, started hanging out break times, and then yeah, later on we went to visit at each other's house. I remember we also played Sims
yes,
at the one time. That was
I
also
love
a
Sims.
nice game. But yeah, it helped. We were always honest with each other. I think we would
Yeah,
say if something we didn't agree on something,
yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
we'd talk it out, bro. So I think that's also what builds a great friendship, the honesty and that coming to back to our friendship as like it's something beneficial because now we've basically come along on the self-development journey together and
Yeah,
we can motivate each other and help each other. So yeah, I get why people say relationships are important and you can't go through life alone because
mm-mm.
there's just something about a friendship or these sort of relationships
Yeah,
that drive you to just improving yourself as well. And when you go through those dark times, you don't go through it alone because you have friends to help carry the weight with you, man. But yeah,
sure,
I'm grateful for the friendship too, bro.
sure, man. That's so true, bro. I think sometimes when you are in those dark kind of situations, you feel like it's the best kind of thing to just push everyone else away and try and do it by yourself. But dude, it's been it's been such an honor like having you as a friend, and being able to help each other through. There's been a lot of tough times that we've gone through before, and I remember when my dad was sick earlier with COVID this year, man, you were praying for him every day. And it's stuff like that, as well. That was even just this year, and we became friends, probably like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, kind of thing. So it's crazy, man. And yeah, bro, I really appreciate that as well. Like you say, I think there's always as well, there's difficult times in a friendship. Like you say, we were always honest with each other, which I think really helped us, man. There's probably times, I mean, even I can remember, it was usually a small thing back then. Maybe like I wanted to play with the soccer ball longer or whatever. It was always stupid stuff like that. But we used to have fights as well, but we always worked through it. We never like shut each other up. We never decided like, oh, I'm just gonna give up. We never gave up on each other. We always like kept it going. And I remember we were in the same school up until grade 5, and then I moved schools, and obviously that can sometimes be a thing of where people just completely stop being friends. But we stayed friends through that. We still would hang out, maybe not quite as often, unfortunately, but we still would hang out. And then a few years later, you moved back to Namibia. Even that couldn't stop, our friendship from going, man. So, wow, bro, it's been really something, man. And obviously, what it's built up to is now starting this project together, Better Than Yesterday. And I mean, yeah, but even before that, so let's take it back a step. So for me, going through high school, I would say, high school is a tough journey as well. I think often, I remember at the beginning of high school, I was not a very confident person. I wouldn't say I was like super shy or awkward really, but I was not confident in who I was. I didn't have good self-esteem. I know that for a fact. I used to not rate myself at all. Like I would really not back myself in many situations. When I was going up to people, I would just go after them with the hope that they would like me, not realizing the value that I could provide and give to them and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a tough journey, obviously in high school. Like, you can get trodden down on and stepped on all over the place in the beginning. So sometimes that can happen, but thankfully also I made good friends that helped me in the beginning of high school and, throughout to find my confidence. But I must say one thing that did play a big journey is when I did start, is when I started listening to, speakers like motivational speakers and that kind of stuff. It more came through the form of watching YouTube videos oftentimes, just of like how to gain self-confidence, bro, and how to get rid of those beliefs that you don't have value, man. A lot of people can sometimes look down on those videos for whatever reason, but I must say that they really helped me a lot, man. They gave me the belief in myself to back myself in situations, to not be scared of other people, to realize the value that I had to start to love myself. Because, that's also an important thing. You have to love yourself so that other people can love you, kind of thing, man. And yeah, so that sort of started just by watching. I felt that I didn't have this confidence and this lack of self-esteem. I felt that, and I was like, I want to be better. I want to be confident. I want to be going in situations, happy and not feeling like there's a weight holding me back. I just wanted to go into things free. And I started a journey of doing research, through YouTube, through other things on how to, and even through the Bible as well, and through friends speaking about it. Yeah, man, and thankfully I was able to get rid of that burden that was holding me back of the low self-esteem, and it's been so freeing since then, I must say. How's it been? I'm sure, like, with yourself, like, how did you get onto the path of becoming more confident and becoming someone who looks to improve themselves, man?
Yeah, so after I moved back to Namibia, I went to a normal government school, I think, yeah. So I wasn't in that Christian bubble anymore. So like a lot of stuff were new to me. For example, alcohol and yeah, like cigarettes, all those things that I wasn't used to at my normal school. Also relationships, like romantic relationships and that.
Mm,
So I think that brought my self-esteem down because like I didn't feel part of that, or yeah, it wasn't part of my life before, and
mm,
I had to sort of get used to it. So I think during grade 8 and 10, I would focus on my academics quite a bit and then sports, but I never really um, sort of developed good friendships with people around me, because I would like draw away, or we would be friends, but I wouldn't necessarily hang out with my school friends like after school. It would basically just be during school, and then when I'm at home, I'll just be at my house, so on. Awesome. So to get to the point where I had this realization that self-improvement is important was in grade 11, when I went to this new school, Windhoek High School. There I realized that you can't just stay in one place. You need to keep improving, because I got to the school and my grades actually dropped far worse than I thought it would. Then I went on this like path to get to the point where my grades got up again. So I started looking up some YouTube videos on how to improve your grades. And in that, I found this gem of a book, How to Become an A Student. And it taught me more than just being a student. It taught me about life and about how you should discipline yourself in all areas of your life, always trying to improve and striving to better yourself, just so that you can make that impact that you are meant to make out there. And bro, I've this question. How do you experience the challenges and advantages of this kind of journey of self-improvement, man?
Sure, bro. It's cool to hear your journey about that, bro. And yeah, I think I remember both of us sort of struggling for that kind of thing of how to be, obviously I think we had pressure from parents and people around us to be good at school and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I completely relate to that, bro, and understand that. And it's cool to hear your journey on that, bro. But it's a very good question, bro. It's a very good question, because there is realistically, I think we're always talking about the benefits of self-improvement and how we got on this journey and all these kind of things. But there's also a lot of like challenges that come along the way, bro. And I think for me, so to like I said, it's sort of started during high school. And to talk about some of the benefits first, maybe I'll say that, and how I put it into practice is, like, I remember I was literally just doing things to become more confident, and to get myself out of my comfort zone. I think that's one thing that really, it forces you to develop as a person, getting out of your comfort zone, man. So what I would do, like,
Yeah.
for example, yeah, 100%, man. So, and there's a lot of channels and stuff that speak about those kind of things. So yeah, that's one thing I would say, is that you have to get out your comfort zone. And that's when you see the benefits, but it's also difficult, obviously, because you want to just stay in this nice little bubble where you're all comfortable and that kind of stuff. But getting out your comfort zone is important, man. So I remember I would be like with friends, and we would just challenge ourselves to like walk up to a random person in the mall and give them a high five, like literally that kind of stuff. And it just sort of, for me, because obviously I was more, I wasn't quite as confident. I was a bit more shy before that. So for me, that was getting out of my comfort zone. And that's just an example of what it can be. And yeah, so I remember that kind of stuff, like challenging myself to do the things that I was scared of. That's when I really started to see the benefits, bro. Because, and what I would see the benefits of is like, the first time you walk up to this person, you're super awkward. You're like, what do I do? Like, and then it's not so great. But then eventually it becomes like clockwork. It becomes like nothing, because you realize that everyone's just in this world like same as you, kind of thing. We're all just here trying to make the best of it for ourselves. So yeah, man, like I just realized that I didn't need to place so much emphasis on what they're all thinking about, which is what we've also talked about in another video. So that's kind of what I would say, is that the difficulty is that you have to force yourself to get out your comfort zone. But the benefits is exactly what you see after that, is that you start to overcome those fears, and you start to become almost a whole new person, because all these things that are previously holding you back, you're just like free from that now. And it's honestly the best feeling, bro. What are your sort of experiences on that?
Yeah, bro, exactly. So there's always this voice in your head telling you to do something, and you realize that if you don't listen to it, you go back on, like when it's the evening, you just go back and think about what you could have done and why you didn't do it, and then you kind of feel bad. But when you start listening to that voice and you do what you really want to do, even if there's that fear, you overcome it, and yeah, it just gives you that confidence. And it does always stay there. There's always going to be fear, but being able to overcome it, that's what makes you a better person and what gives you that sort of freedom, because every time there comes a new challenge or a new sort of fear, you go for it. You're not scared, you don't shy away from it, but it's like you become stronger and stronger every time. So I guess that is kind of the challenge and the benefit.
Yeah.
And then also with this journey, it takes a lot of willpower. Some days it is more difficult than other days. Some days you just want to slack off, and sometimes you can give yourself that rest, that grace. But other days you should just like go for your goals, even if it's difficult. You should
Yeah.
do whatever you told yourself to do for that day, finish up, and then once you're done, you will feel the joy, man. I guess that's what I've got to say. And tell us sort of about how we got to Better Than Yesterday, bro. Got to the page.
Yes. Yeah. So this whole project that we started, yeah, it's interesting because over the past 4 years, bro, our friendship has been mainly through things like this, like Zoom calls, bro. Obviously you've been living in Namibia, which is about like it's realistically, it's not the other opposite side of the world, but it's like a 36-hour drive. You've been going to school there, I've been going to school here, so we haven't really been able to see each other much at all. Thankfully, you had the opportunity to come down here earlier this year, and that was such an awesome time to see you, bro. But all of our conversations have sort of been through the phone like this, but honestly, I still feel like it's just been the most fruitful and beneficial friendship I could have hoped for, man. Because yeah, so we started having conversations, man. Like we would just be talking, pouring out to each other, as friends do, about what we've been feeling, what we've been thinking about. And thankfully we're literally have been on the same kind of wavelength. And I'm sure everyone needs a friendship like that in their life. So I would say hold tight to the people that you do have in your life that are like that. And yeah, so we started having conversations like earlier this year. I would say probably beginning of this. Well, I would say it probably started mainly like last year during matric. I think during matric, your final year of high school, you start to take in some thoughts about what you want to do moving forward in your life, like what kind of impact you want to have on the people around you. And yeah, I just remember us having like all of these conversations, bro, about like how we can improve ourselves, how we can make an impact on people's lives around us, whether it be through church, whether it be through a YouTube channel or something like this, whether it be through just like the daily interactions that you have with someone walking down the street, or the people, the friends and family in your life. So we started having conversations about that kind of stuff. And also what we started having conversations was about like money and that kind of stuff as well, and the use of that, how to start your own business, that kind of stuff. Both of us obviously interested in business and starting projects and entrepreneurial kind of ideas. And like for me, that's more in an IT side of things, and like economical and business. That's always something that I've been interested in, and using IT for the benefit of that. Like that's sort of why I went into that path of career. For you, it's been in property, bro. So it's two different streams, but it's still the same idea in that we want to make our mark on the world, bro. And yeah, so we started having these conversations, and I just remember it got to a point where we were like, bro, these kind of conversations for us, it was just the most beneficial thing. I remember coming off the phone with you, bro, and sometimes like I'd be saying something like preaching, bro, like this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and then you'd be like, yeah, man, this is exactly how I feel. I'm going for it like that. It was just like such a cool thing, man. So I remember those phone calls would be like the most fruitful thing I can think of, and like we just had this thought where it's like, okay, cool, this is benefiting us so much. I think it would be also a really cool thing to put that out there to people so that they can listen to it. And I understand, yeah, that like we've already made some impact through our page, and we've got like big plans for it, bro. Honestly, I'm excited to see where it's going. We've now started putting our stuff up on all the podcasting platforms, and I'm sure there's some people who are listening to this right now through the podcasting platforms. So yeah, we've got big plans for this, bro. And it started off as just an idea, two friends having conversations, and we realized that we want to make an impact on the world and the people around us, and this is a good way to do that, man.
Yeah, it's exactly the same how we got to this point. And I remember the day that we had this conversation. We were like going at each other, talking about different things that we want to achieve and what we've achieved so far. We were just like telling each other our plans, and then sort of we came to the point where we both said we should start like a video or like a platform where we can help other people as well.
Yeah.
And in that, we also still helping ourselves. So what's different about Better Than Yesterday is Michael and I are both still on this journey. We're also going for it, and it's nice to like walk this path and then have this platform where we can just always share our experiences and new knowledge that we gain
Yeah.
as we gain it. It makes it more personal as well. So yeah, no, our friendship has really been beneficial, man, and the conversations we've had. Uh, yeah, it's so good to have a friendship like this, and like you said, we should always appreciate it and never
Yeah.
take it for granted because there's still people out there also looking for this sort of friendship, trying to find that friend who also sees things the way they do or in a similar way. And like you said, yeah, real estate, it's also like something commercial with IT as well.
Yeah.
And we literally have the same goal to make an impact in this world. And I think having someone significant like our religion, God,
Yeah.
having him there as well, and we both believe in him, and just going for the purpose he set out for us to do. That's really amazing, man. And I
Definitely.
also look forward to what we've got coming, man.
Yeah, man. So that's basically like our story. I think we've touched a lot of points there because there's just so much to talk about in terms of our story, who we are, and I hope that's like Daniel was saying that hopefully everyone who's on this journey has people around them that can help them. But that's also why me and Daniel are here, to hopefully this is a community that we started, Better Than Yesterday. So hopefully you guys will be able to reach down to us in the comments, and whatever it is, DM us on Instagram and talk to us about like the kind of journey that you've been going through, because that's what we want. Community is so important, man. So yeah, that's been our story. Hopefully it's been a good listen, a good watch. Yeah, for us it was just a good time to like really get down to like how remember and like think back on these things and think, okay, cool, this is how we got to where we are right now. Sometimes you forget about all the steps that you took to get to that place. So yeah, man, I think it's been a really cool one. I'm excited for what we're going to be doing in the future. Like you say, lots more stuff coming up the way soon. But yeah, I appreciate the conversation, bro, as always. Make
Yeah,
sure that
man,
you
me too.
guys let us know your thoughts, and like I said, hit us up on all the pages, give us a follow there. But yeah, that's it from us. Yeah.
Yeah, remember to be yourself and
Yeah.
not try and fit into the box like society created us to fit in. Be yourself, don't put on a mask, and remember to be better than yesterday. Cheers, guys.
So good, man. Cheers.